Be a nice sort of video. I'm going to share what I feed my horses and like roughly the routine that I use. So I might just drag my thing over. Yeah, that's rough. No, it's not. There we go, it's in place now. So, I've got the horses' buckets here, and also headstall and a hoof pick that just went flying. So, if I grab my little jug, I have water that I keep over here. I always get it fresh, sort of thing. I always have fresh water, but I use this little jug here just as what I use to pour the water. So basically, Willow's bucket is blue, Zacara's is a more maroon colour. And Willow, basically, this scoop here is what I use. Willow will just get about a half a scoop, so about that much chaff just there. That's about how much I give her because she doesn't need much. Whereas Zacara gets a full scoop. That wasn't quite a full scoop. Full scoop. And then I just kind of place the buckets on top of the bins because I no longer need the bins. Both bins have got chaff in them. I think I just put Willow's bucket on top of my spoon, and then because I don't like putting my hand into the chaff because it gets everywhere, I have a very, very small teaspoon that I use. That's going to need more water. And I judge it as I go, so if I need more water, I'll just pop in more water as I go. Yeah. So I'm currently just using cold water. During winter, I tend to use warm water, but just because it's kind of coming into summertime now, even though the weather's pretty cold today, I try to just kind of convert them back over to cold water, just because hot water is a little bit hot on like a 30-degree day. Like, it's not very pleasant for them. Okay. There we go. So then I shift this out, and then I've got this cupboard here that I keep supplements in. So for Zacara, I use this one here, which they're both in Anzac biscuit tins. But so this is Equine Vitamin. This is just for Zacara's feet, in which I just use I put one scoop into her feed. And then for Willow, it's just labelled as gut or restore. So this is Phoenix Restore, and it's just for like kind of gut health. And I use it every so often when I feed Willow mostly. And I pop a little bit sometimes in Zacara's, and it's just to kind of make sure that their guts are working properly. Because we had an issue with Willow for a little bit where she was absolutely atrocious with her gut health. And then I just put in just some table salt. Just straight table salt. I've just got Woolies branded. And then finally I have sunflower oil. Yeah, I'll actually do that one last. So when I mix, I just use the exact same teaspoon and just kind of stir it, sort of thing. Kind of fold it over top of itself and stuff like that. But yes, the only other thing that I feed is I sometimes will feed out hay, mostly to Willow, because Willow's doesn't have as much feed as Zacara does in her paddock. Whereas Zacara's got a fair bit of feed in her paddock, so she doesn't really need the hay as much. So I only very rarely give Zacara hay. If she's with Willow, then yes, she gets hay. But if not and she's in the big paddock, she doesn't tend to, because the cattle will just eat it. and because she's not really, she doesn't eat hay too much, so I just don't really give it to her. But yes, that's the feeding routine done. And I will share feeding them in just a moment. I've got one other video I want to film while I'm in here. I'll share with you going to feed the horses. I've just got their buckets here, and I basically will release one bucket at a time to the horses. I keep them in the same hand as I go, in which Willow goes first. Because if I feed Willow, then if I feed Zacara, then I feed Willow. Zacara wants Willow's food, even though she's got more. So yes, I always go Willow first, which I will quickly share with you now. Me, so I'll just film here. Come on. Come on up. My camera dropped apparently. Good job, Willow. So yes, Willow just has to back up for food. That's it. And Zacara tends to just turn away. I'm currently working on getting her backup cue down pat, but we're not quite there yet, so I'll quickly stop filming and get over to Zacara because I haven't actually reached her quite yet, and neither has she. We haven't quite reached each other yet. And then we've got Zacara. There you go. What's this doing? Chuck it on the side of the